Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's sponsors interview for our Heart and Soul Virtual Expo, which, as you probably know by now, is coming up next, it's in less than 2 weeks today. It's coming up on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of February. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what we're doing today, as you would have seen several interviews earlier this week, is we are interviewing every single one of our incredible sponsors for the Expo, because honestly, I want to give them an extra special shout out, because without these incredible sponsors, we just honestly could not put this Expo together. They give us incredible support for each other, and it is unbelievable. So today we have a wonderful lady. Her name is Boundy, who we're going to learn all about her passion and her business. And her business is called Boomer Press. Now, who has a story to tell? Do you think you are someone who has a story to tell? I know that I do, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit today while we talk to Ros. And Ros helps you to be able to share that story with the world. So let's bring her on now, and she can tell us a lot more about her passion and what she does. Hello, beautiful lady. How are you?
G'day, how are you? Yeah, going well.
Going well.
A swim this morning, yes. It's lovely energy being expended and refreshed. Probably not as lively as normal because I've spent the energy, but that's fine. That's the cycle.
Right. We're going to have fun today because it's all about the fun, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's finding what you love doing is one of the good parts about writing, for starters. Yes. And then publishing. Yeah.
So in that, Ros, maybe you can pop it a little bit more succinctly as into what Boomer Press is all about.
It is more like it is about press, as in being publishing, writing, getting it seen by others. But it's not so much about the actual printing of the book itself. It's not like it's an offset printer setup where I'm the one that's running a machine that goes round.
Oh, really? You're not going to print all the books?
I have. Many years ago, I did use an offset printer as part of helping a community newspaper. And I'd gone through as an editor, I had done the proofreading. The only thing I didn't do was the actual layout of the newspaper. It was done on a light board, and then it would be sent off to Adelaide, set on the whatever that a special paper thingy something was that comes back to the offset printer. And I'd be one of the helpers that would do the machine, and it'd go cha-cha. What you hear in those old newsreel things, it really does make that sound. And it was a huge amount of fun. And then it was helping my dad do his books that he wanted to write, as far as little local histories and stuff like that. So it was just getting that bitten by a bug, I suppose, that, yes, we do all have stories. We do, and it's more a bit along that memoir line that I'd like to follow through with my own. But I have written 2 non-fiction books about, finding your peace. So because we really do live in a world that's so chaotic, and the further along in maturity, the more I've become able to sit in that peace and really feel that right through whatever I do. So, and it's that whole range, I suppose, of from the start to the finish, where either we hold hands or we, in some respect, or bring ways of helping you along, whether it is setting the book within a word processing setup if you don't type yourself, or showing you how to do it used to be called dictation, but you can do the voice to text now.
Yeah, and it's still the same, I think, but they do it differently, really, don't they?
Yeah, setting things along that line. There's so many different ways to be able to help someone along in being able to get those words into a format that can become a book. And then from that, if you want to do public and print it, to do it, offer it for the world, well, I know the way that you can do it through the Amazon stream of publishing, print on demand. There are other ways which I haven't personally experienced, but I do know of them and the how to. So it's still a form of getting it out there if you want to. The only thing I don't have as much experience in now is the full offset printing, in the old-fashioned way of going through the ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. How Dad did his, yes. So I know how it's done. I know how to organise it, but that was probably 20 years ago, could even have been 30. I've lost track of the time, as we all do.
Fine, we all do that, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's really just helping people on your sense of discovering what you're needing, what you're wanting to do with your story, joining you with that journey so that you've got something at the end. Yeah.
That's right. So for instance, and I, I'll just use myself as an example because I think we have spoken before about this, and I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit. But I'm someone who's got a story to tell. I want to get it out there. So what would you say if someone to me came to you and I said, "This is not a word of a lie, Roz, I've just got to tell my life story. It's very delicate, right? Parts of it are very delicate. I don't want to name some people, but I just want to put it out there, and I've got no idea how to do it. Yeah. Where would I start?"
Well, I mean, the way to start is just writing what your story is. Don't worry about the names of it at this point in time. When you're just starting, even if it's just putting initials in the places that you're using and using a name, just in case you don't want someone finding your manuscript years later and suing you.
That's true. Yeah, well, that's true
that type of thing. It's just using something as a placeholder that's not as easily identified to the normal regular person that might just pick it up and say, "Oh, cool, that's that one," and "Oh, that doesn't sound right," and "Oh, I'm going to sue her. She said lie, blah blah blah." But it's still a valid way to write. Is just write your story as you're thinking it and feeling it, and put it on the paper. And it's only ever a draft in that first moment. It's not what's going to be printed. It's just putting your thoughts on the paper as you see it. It's your truth. Later, after you get an edit or two done and you're really modifying, you're discerning what might be risky to change it out with, make-believe names. You can switch names in and the rest. You say it's based on a real story. Names have been changed and all that. I mean, that's part of what goes in the copyright section at the front and disclaimers, that type of stuff. And if it gets very tricky, it's always going to be an option to check with, the IP type of a specialist solicitor to see what may or may not be. And you just don't do it. You rephrase it. You make it up as a fiction type story or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Memoir is, it can be shifted into something that's a little bit more fictionalized if you desire, and it can still be called a memoir. Just having those little disclaimers and whatnot with it. Yeah.
So
put it down on paper.
So when you think about it, the first draft is really what I call a brain dump. So you're just writing it down as it is in the timeline that it happened, and then going back and I'll tell you what, if I'm going to say not if, when I do that, man, is it going to be interesting?
And it is, because you yourself go through a fair bit of inner therapy as you're writing.
Yeah.
When you're even just doing it as a brain dump, and it does take you back through some of those pathways that bring healing through that writing. putting
is
it
like that.
on paper. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And I know that from experience, even like, and I probably don't do as much of it now as I have done before, but in a previous business that I ran, I shared my story quite openly live on Facebook. And I always said how much of a therapy that was. Every single time I shared more and more of my story, it was like a therapy. So I think sitting down to, to do a book, yeah, that's just as therapeutic, like in very different ways, but just as therapeutic. What Susie's saying, I think that most people that write a book or a long article, they edit it so many times. Oh yeah, definitely. I think for me, it'd have to be editing out the swear words a fair bit.
Well, these days, yeah, that's possibly. It just depends what message you're wanting to give in your voice. If you feel that, because there's so many words that are written now that still have the lots of little letters of the alphabet that I wouldn't say myself personally. But they are becoming more common, and you look at some of the titles of books. I was thinking headlines, not doing an article, but titles of books. They are even in headlines of articles too, where people are saying fuck a shitload more, and all of those sorts of curse words, swear words, whatever used to be very rude when I was younger, are becoming a lot more common. Does it mean I like it? Not really, actually, because I think we've brought some of what is beautiful language into what isn't as nice to read anymore in a lot of respects. But it just depends what sort of voice that you want to have in your story as to how you put it. When you were saying about a previous business that you had and you were writing down stuff, as far as brain dumps and the rest, it can be just like I used to write in a journal type.
Yes, I've done a lot
of that. Never
that.
Any intention. It wasn't called Dear Diary. It turned into being the language of let's write a journal, journal your thoughts and all that sort of stuff. If I went back to find all of those journals, which I do have somewhere, would everything that I've written in those be relevant for a memoir? Some of them could be, but it was mainly put through that process of writing because I knew it was going to be healing. So it could still be woven into what might be the theme of what you want to share with people as a memoir or as something that is a non-fiction self-help style group of a group book of, how to get past divorce as a midlife crisis or something like that. Because,
cool. I love that.
It can be any title you want with any theme, but in your story or words. And we've all got our own story to tell like that. Does everybody want to read them? Look, probably not, but you just don't know if there's that one specific person that does pick up your book that's going to absolutely change their life. So in that process, in that moment, it is worth it.
And see, I love your idea of a self-help book, so like you say, and I think this would, especially for those of us in business, using your story to reach out to your target audience. But more than that, it's sharing your story to encourage people who you really have a passion for working with, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm coming from in all, but and see, there's another question that comes for me is like, so how do I, where do I direct the self-help? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many questions that I have to putting it together. But
and that's where what even if it's fairly vague, pretty much what flow you want. Now, which direction is that going to go? Is that way or that way? Which is left and right. See, with doing the readings, I like to go left to right. So I'm trying to pick what right hand. So when you're moving along with your story, it goes in a flow. So you're actually taking it in a direction. What you want to do with that direction, even if it's only vaguely. You've got a general gist of what helped you move through to be where you are now. And that's pretty much essentially you're writing your story in that way that you found the help for yourself is going to work for others, which it does, and sharing it that way. So you put it down in a basic framework, And even if it feels like it's a little bit chaotic to start with, that's where there's various types of editors that you can use as you move along through the process. I've, with what I've learned as I've moved through some of the training that I've done, it's been pretty much that you definitely need to have a developmental editor to get that flow and where the placement of your important points and parts are. And then at the completion, you've got a final edit before you get the proofreading. So pretty much a basic of 3. So, writing a book is not a free process. There are certain steps that do cost.
Of course.
But it's weighing up for yourself, how important is the message to get out to people? And, you can base a business around what your process is from a book. Write your book. Have that as part of the process. Build that is the help bones for people to then help them along. It's partly self-help, but then there's always where people go, help, I need a bit extra. And, it's part of that process. Having a good nonfiction book as part of your basic in a business, I think every business really needs to have something that is a foundation for them to move on with, that is their own publication. That's just
I absolutely agree. And as you say that, someone like one of my mentors is coming to mind, Denise Duffield-Thomas. I don't know if you're aware of her, but she's got several books out, and her first book, and it just resonated with me, it's called Lucky Bitch. And I have that book. I've read it several times. And yes, it's about her story, how she became a millionaire, but it's so much deeper than that, because it's teaching you the basics of how to run your own business, right? What to do in your business, how to do those sales. So she is telling her story, but she's also teaching you how to follow the steps that she took. And you're exactly right when I say, for people in business, it is the first step, because she teaches just enough in that book for you to want to go. And this is why she's one of my mentors. I want to learn more from her. And clearly it worked with me anyway, and a lot of other people.
Yeah, as I was in those first stages of a first business way back after a divorce type of thing, because the way that I learned business when we first started, it was like we started off doing, myself and a husband at that time, we were very young. We did start off picking up cow pats and sheep shit under sheep sheds type of thing, and hammer milling that and hawking them up in Adelaide. It is how we started. Hard graft. Lots of hard work, putting it into bags and sewing them, and then fumigating, and then it went to potting soils, and then it went to earth moving, and then it went to concreting. It grew. It was just by a fluxion of time and necessity to learn how to do bookkeeping, how to do blah, blah, blah. I learned as I go, as I continue to do, forever a student. But it's in the stages of where I was shifted into, I moved out, not the kids, and, doing something for myself. I had to relearn a different way to do it. And one of my mentors at that point in time was joining into someone, Ali Brown, I think, International or something. So, and the basis of it's all the same information, basically, but it
pretty
is, much, it is, but it's what you resonate with the people that you see as they show themselves, as far as you've got to be out there to show what your stuff is and help people. I love doing the live streams and this type of thing. So I'm quite happy to do that. I show myself and everything, but it's that follow up. It's needing then to have the systems in place to be able to support what you are putting into place. So, from a book that might be a basis of your business, create some courses or workshops or seminars or things like that, but then have, excellent idea to have the virtual assistants along the way as well.
Yes, that's right.
I know that's something that you help people organise as well, and have that support. So I think it's just being present to understanding what someone's needs are as you're growing and learning. And I think that's more, as I'm growing and learning, I'm putting my hand up to show what I've learnt to others. So it's, I've got a lot of knowledge.
Yes, you clearly have. Yeah.
How it's going to be structured, that's going to be an adventure in itself too. It's not set in concrete, it is bespoke. Whatever is needed is what will be designed. So.
And isn't that the joy of business? Because, I believe that everyone who's in business, because it takes a special kind of person to be in business, we're all creatives. And the best thing about it is that when we are in business, we have this open platform to create whatever we want, however we want, to help whoever we want.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so friggin' exciting.
Right? Yeah. And this is what I like with the live streaming. Sometimes it just gets to where there's that overlap in time, isn't it? Yes. From one sending, one receiving. One of the things that I have learned over time is not to be stuck in someone else's system, but to create your own, so that what you are bringing forward and designing is for yourself first, that what you are doing you're going to be happy to do, so that you keep enjoying what you're doing and you're not stuck with, oh, but such and such said so because here's the 1, 2, 3, 4 and I have to do it this way, which is BS. Design as you like. It's good to have some foundational knowledge around it, but design as you know it's going to work for you. Sometimes it's going to be, you make mistakes, but we learn best by mistakes. They are life lessons.
That's true. And I actually I literally saw a post on this from another coach a couple of days ago, and it said, it was something along the lines of, don't try and be your coach. So don't, like, if for instance, if you're a business coach learning from a business coach, don't go out and try to be exactly like that coach. Be yourself. And I went, I've been there, done that. Right. So now, now all you get is Ali's.
Yeah. I mean, this is where, coincidence, the names. I mean, the one of the coaches that I had learnt from was this Ali Brown and Ali Brown International. She was big at the time. I don't know whether she's still around. I suppose she is.
I've heard the name.
But we do move through different stages. So for the right timing of where you're at, change it up. Pick up the different energy that you're flowing through with another. You don't have to be stuck with one, including once people have, don't have a need for me, I'm fine with wherever anything leads you to. Take it up and try it out, because it might be the perfect situation for you to shift into. Doesn't have to be this, that, or the other person. Just, I trust my energy a lot too, by the way.
I know, and you do. I know you do. Yeah, you go with the flow, and I love that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm going to go back a step, but you were saying before, and I kind of, every time I think about this, I kick myself in the foot, because you say you can use journals to write your story. I had a moment when I was recovering from a moment, and so what I did is, to help with that recovery, I took my journals and I burnt them all. Now, in hindsight, I'm like,
they could have been valuable.
It was great at the time, but now they're invaluable, and I truly wish I had them. Oh, never mind.
I mean, yes, they could have been really good memory joggers and the rest. But what we do is trust that inner, what we know, and you're going to write whatever you're putting down as your brain dump from where you are now, not where you were then.
Good point.
So you'll remember what's needed, that's going to be important for whatever writing you're going to do, because you're going to it will dump as it needs to.
Yes,
and just take it, and it's not going to be all in one sitting either. You're going to have different times and moments where something will jog your memory that, I've got to write that down, and just go and do it. Do another dump. That's got a different connotation, doesn't it? But that's good too. We end up getting all that out.
Sometimes you just need that before you sit down and write. It's like a nervous poo, isn't it? Before you go on
Yeah,
for an
it
interview.
is.
Did I just say that live on Facebook? Yes, I did.
I don't think they're going to ban you, not at all.
Oh, I hope not. That's okay. I'm sure I'm not the first.
On YouTube, this deck of cards, right? That one
we are on
I
YouTube
use every week. On YouTube, I got a strike because, and I'm not going to show it to you, because the mature woman card in this particular deck has a bare boob.
Oh, no.
And I got a strike for nudity, and they would not listen to a, you know, how you get the, you can respond to it. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah,
I asked them to reconsider because it's not nudity. It's a card. It's a artwork. No, I've still got the strike. So you do still need to be careful some of the things you show and the music that you play. Yes.
Yes, there you go, definitely. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and this is a very loaded question. I'm going to be really curious to hear your answer. When writing a book, in your opinion, should AI assist you with that?
Absolutely, if it's going to help you write. I'm not against it. It is artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
How intelligent it is, you know, you can really wonder sometimes with some of the rubbish that comes out. What it is, it's measured by tokens, not by words. It doesn't have, it just depends on how deep the large language model goes into its analysis of those tokens and the combinations. It can write very good prose, but it's still like it can write a book now, but it's not good. It's how the prompting is done and all the rest that's involved with it. So really, if it's looked at as just the tool, it can help you prompt what's the next step that I need to be putting into this story as far as a good flow. So it can help with taking out some of that uncertainty with outlining a book, with placing the chapters where they need to be. And you still need to know how to do the prompting so that it's good prompting, so that you can get something that's sensible and decent. And you still need to edit the shit out. You need to edit a lot.
Edit the crap out of it,
yeah. Because it's not going to write in your own voice. You can certainly train some of them to be agents or whatever they're calling them now. But I do think it's got a part to play, because we do get stuck sometimes with just finding that right word. You know, olden days, you know, we used to write with hand and the rest, and you're a bit uncertain. You went to a dictionary. You went to a thesaurus.
Right. There was none of this internet business, was there?
No. The LLMs and the AIs and everything like that are just an absolutely huge conglomerate of all of those trainings that we've put in with, you know, the information that's been there for many, many years anyway, freely or otherwise, you know, the courts and that can play out that part of it. But no words as such, when looked at singly, are a copyright factor. You know, we're placing them together when we put the prompts together to ask that particular ChatGPT or the Claudes or the Google, whatever they're calling theirs, etc. We still have to put the instruction there to ask the question.
Exactly.
You know? So it's a tool. That's all I see it as. How they can be used, you know, sometimes they can be done for ill will, etc. You know, things can be done nasty, or they can be for absolute benefit.
And that's it's very true. It can, and that, I think you said something that I completely agree with, is that it's artificial intelligence. So even if you're using it to write, you know, to help you write your story, then, you know, and there's something I say to my clients is always go back and proofread what it said. Because
you definitely need to proofread.
It could have said something that you completely disagree with, which has happened. When I use, in all honesty, I use AI and ChatGPT in particular. I use it a lot, but I also correct what it says a lot, because sometimes I'll go, that doesn't sound like me, but B, more importantly, I completely disagree with what you said. Right?
Yeah.
You're a bot.
And
you're not a human with an opinion.
It's still something that you have to fact check. And
yes,
this is where, for me, the whole realm of the internet has become a little cloudy, purely because there is so much information, misinformation, outright lies that are all over the place. How are we really knowing what is the truth? So it does take a bit of discernment and training to find trusted sites that does do that fact checking, that can help you with fact checking if it's really important in a book, or because it's perpetuating, it in itself, it's been perpetuating all of this that's become cloudy. But we're needing, there does need to be that is trustworthy. Now, I don't know what sites are. I haven't got to that depth yet, but it's something that I probably will research soon if I do another nonfiction, because it's going to become important the more that there is less of this happening on social media, because I did hear about the Facebook stuff not having as much fact checking happening, perpetuating further of the questionables.
Yes.
We definitely are needing to be more discerning, and don't believe everything you read, see, etc. on internet without knowing there is potential it's not true. So,
see, I agree, 100% agree with that, and I think well said, because that's what we tend to do. We just tend to read it. It's almost like Dr. Google, isn't it? When you got something, or you type in your symptoms and then the internet says you've got this, and we all go to the worst case scenario, and then you go to the doctors and they just roll their eyes at you and go, oh, for goodness sake, you've got a cold. Calm down, it's okay. So you're right. It was curious because I've had a lot of people ask me that question in particular about AI. So and I had that question. So I agree. But you need to keep your own voice. However you're going to do it, you have to keep your own voice.
Yeah, I mean, it's here. We're not going to get rid of it.
We're not.
The horse is bolted as far as it's out there. It's in everything we use now. So just have that awareness of which areas it's stronger than others or more obvious than others. Because even our spell checkers, that's an AI, all of it.
Well, exactly. We've actually had AI around for a long time, haven't we? Everyone's just seeing it more now than ever before. And I love what Susie's saying. Nearly everything ChatGPT gives me now will include a source link for me to fact check. Great. I've not found anything that isn't true as yet. Great. Awesome. Yeah. I like that. That's great. And like we say, everything's evolving.
It will continue that, and probably the speed of it will surprise even us from what it used to be pre-computers. I'm of that era where there was not personal computers to now. I mean, it seems to be a very fast-paced world. It's going to get even crazier with those developments and what is possible. Is it a good or bad thing? Look, we won't know. We won't know. Not really.
I suppose, and even I was literally doing an AI training with my clients this morning, and I said to them, I think still, and this is me more personally, I've grown up with the Terminator and the the Matrix type thing. So to me, that's what AI is. It has been.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, all right, robots aren't actually going to come out of the wall and kill me.
No, they're still controlled by humans at this point.
Exactly right. That's right, Ross. So, so that's really good. So tell us then how you really do help people. So you're helping them put books together. Let us know. You put in courses. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's still early stages, early days. So I've put a course together and I'm still learning the finessing of the how-to with the platform I've chosen, which is Soul Software. So the course is written, it's ready to go. I'm just developing the community place and space that I want to house it on. And that is purely because I don't want to have it based on the rented land of Facebook or anywhere else groups wise, or
Smart.
it won't be where I'm going to be showing up with a course. It's going to be through Soul Software. So that link, I'll have to actually find the link for that course because it's soft launch at the moment. So that'll be there. That'll have a once a week session, not Zoom, because Soul Software has its own in-house video meeting area. So I'm going to bring it all into what Soul Software has to offer and explore that avenue. So it's that as the weekly, as part of the course. I'm still doing, what have I called it? The Boomer Press Book Nook on a Sunday evening. That will be an hour session of whatever I feel like doing that's book related.
What do I feel like doing today? That's wicked.
Mainly because I found out, and I hadn't even thought of it, you can't read a book out loud publicly without permission from the publisher or the author, which I'd just started reading a random book out loud as if telling stories to adults rather than kids. And I found out later, someone said something about it, and I thought, there's certain things, the older I'm getting, I forget details. So no, that's all right. So, and, by appointment, like to set up a session, a free half-hour session with potential clients, people that want some help with doing their books and that process.
Mm-hmm.
The first step is to sort an appointment so that we can go through what stage anyone is at so that it can be put into place. If you're needing some help with particular areas, especially with editing or proofreading and that type of thing, we can get that happening. Or just guiding as the steps to do these, come back with it, and I can let you know, guide you through what would be the next stage where we can do a session around sorting where your chapters go and that type of thing if you're wanting that, and what type of flow that your book might need. Virtually like a virtual developmental editor in real life type of thing.
Awesome.
Via the Zoom, not the Zoom. You see, we're so used to using that
software,
aren't we?
We are. Yes, we are.
But via that. So, it really does just depend on where a person is at as to what is going to be the steps to be used. But I'd certainly want to be more hands-on with each person individually. As far as doing things by group is good up to a certain point, like a course, but then there definitely is that is offered as a one-to-one. And I'm fine with taking things slower rather than speeding up and going as fast as, the tortoise and the hare factor.
Yeah, no, I get it. So I know sometimes I feel like the tortoise. Today I do. So I know that we've got your website, and Pame, if you have got that link, can you just pop that in the comments, please, my darling, my beautiful VA? So would you suggest that maybe the first point of contact is that people book a call for you? Have you got a call link that they can do that with?
That is in the website. It's on the website, but I do have it here. I've just got it. I didn't actually grab that. Let me have a look at it. Here's the course one that I can put into the private chat that we have in the background. Is that where I should put that?
No, just if you can, just even if after this you just pop it in the comments.
Okay, I'll find the nice, neater looking one. I think that had too many letters after it. You know what they can, look like.
I know all about it. So yes, pop any links that you have in the comments after, Ros, so people can connect with you. Because one thing that I love that you say, and it is so true, is everyone's got a story to tell, haven't they?
Oh yes.
Like I mentioned, I've got a story that I've wanted to do this, no word of a lie, for years. And I just feel like now it's coming to the time where it's like I've got to slap myself around the face a bit and go, woman, just do it. Just get out there.
Yeah, well, I'm even looking like, I have that sense of I need to be doing this for myself as well. I mean, I've got a box of photos I want to scan and bring up so that there's an album for the kids, but to put the stories with those. I mean, that was what started my thinking of doing memoir. But then it is the story of post-divorce, or is it some other story about how we build our business, or is it some other story? There's always different angles. I could probably write 10 books themed appropriately.
Now that you say that, I think I could too.
No? So it's just working out what would you really like to say, purpose. And that's some of that factor of, being able to guide you into what would you really like to say instead of feeling that confusion of everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can be split into 1, 2, 3, 10 books. Who knows? Yeah.
Oh yeah, might be need. What's Michelle saying? Your story needs to be told. Ali Sugars, Roz is going to help you. Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Roz, for coming on today. I really do sincerely love what you do, and we probably will be chatting in the future because this, I think for like the 4th year in a row, getting my book out there is on my vision board. So this year, damn it, I'm going to do it.
Well, even if it's only the 1 or 2 steps at a time, and it gaps, life does happen, but it's making sure that you are progressing, starting it so you're not leaving it until it's too late.
Exactly. Well said. Well, thank you very much, Ros. And please do feel free after this to pop any links in the comments and how people can get in contact with you. Thank you for our chat today. And yes, as Michelle says, just do it. Just do it.
Nike copyrighted that one. We got to be careful.
We got to be careful. Hashtag Nike, just do it. There you go. We're going live on Facebook. We got to do that. Thank you so much, Ros. And we will, of course, see you sharing more about yourself and Boomer Press in the Expo in a couple of weeks' time. So thank you, my darling.
Thank you.
Now, I'm just going to pop you down to the waiting room. Don't go anywhere. What an incredible chat we just had with Ros. Wow. Okay. Every time I speak with Ros, she inspires me more. And I feel like I need to give myself a kick up the bum to just get this book out there. So it's going to happen, Ros. It's going to happen. So yes, if you would like to learn more about Ros, please don't hesitate to click on the links that she's about to put up in the comments and go and, have a chat with her about whatever you feel your story is and how you can put it out there and get it out in front of either the world or just maybe for you, whatever it is that you want. So guys, as I mentioned, these interviews are because Ros and all our other wonderful sponsors are sponsoring the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo, which is happening on the 5th, 6th and 7th of February. It is not very far away at all. It's less than 2 weeks now. Oh my God. If you would like to come and join as a visitor for free, yes, I said free, you don't need to pay any money, come on in and join the Facebook group right now. You will see that all our wonderful sponsors and stall holders are busy setting up their stall albums. You'll see it all in the feed. You can go and check out what they have to offer straight away. And you might even grab yourself a bargain even before the expo happens. During the expo, guys, we have bargains, we have trainings happening and free lives happening every 30 minutes from about 7 in the morning through to 8:30 at night. We have your chance to win one of thousands of dollars worth of lucky prize draws every single day. And we just have a bunch of fun, really. Most of all, we have a bunch of fun. It is not a boring 3 days. I think Ros will agree with that. It is a fun 3 days. So, guys, we'd love to have you come and join us. Thank you to my beautiful assistant who's just put the link in the comments. Come and click on the group. See you in the expo, everybody. Guys, we are coming live next week for another bunch of sponsors interviews where we will learn a lot more about them as well. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend when we finally get there. All right, bye, everybody.